Hello everyone. Quite an interesting. When I first uploaded these Starcraft videos, I wasn't planning on having all these subscribers and all these comments and stuff. That's kind of cool. So I feel like I'm obligated to create some more content. I wasn't planning on it. It was actually for another site. I used YouTube to help host it. But you guys found it. I'm like, oh, that's cool. So what I'm going to do here is slow the game down just a little bit. What I've noticed is there's quite a bit of new people at StarCraft, right? Like, people don't really know what they're doing. They may be new to the RTS genre itself. They may be new to like this kind of game or StarCraft itself, whatever. So, I'm going to try to play a game against the AI. This is a modded AI, so it's a little tougher than most AI that's out right now. The game's not officially released yet. It will be out July 27th, which is very exciting. And I will be buying it for myself as a birthday present. Birthday's not on that day, but anyway, it's close. So, I'm going to try to play this game right here, and you guys can kind of copy my moves. I like Protoss and Zerg a lot. I'm not a big fan of Terran for some reason. I don't know why. Just kind of, And right now, I didn't build quite right. See, at about 8 drones, you just build on your first pylon as Protoss, and then you can begin a continuous construction of drones. If you wait until the 10th drone to build your first pylon, then you have to wait for the pylon to be done, and your stream of drones is slowed down. And I built my first gateway pretty early, and well, not early, like at like 10 drones, right? Like my 10th drone was building as my pylon was, as my gateway being built. Anyway, so when I first made the videos for this, you'll know that a lot has changed. There's patches coming out like all the time for this game because Blizzard's making sure this game is like perfect before they come out, and they have like this thing where they have to have the game just right before it comes out. But there will be more changes in the game as it comes out, and a very subtle change. It's not like this unit gets plus 700% damage, and this artillery's area effect is twice as large now. Like other RTS seem to go all over the place, but Blizzard's more fine-tuning their game very carefully. So anyway, I'm not an amazing StarCraft player. I know my way around the games well. I can do some tricky things, but I'm not by any means a pro player, so to speak, which is a common thing. When you get into StarCraft or RTS in general, first I'll apologize for communities. They can be a little arrogant, a little douchey sometimes, but RTS is kind of it's a little more complicated genre than most RTS, or than most other genres. Sorry, it's hard for me to talk, but at the same time, I'm a guy, so I can only do one thing at a time, right? So, anyway, it's good fun, so enjoy the game first, and if you want to get, like, super good at it, by all means. I thought I tried that Zealot. I'm going to die before this. This is going to be embarrassing. I'm going to die before the enemy even gets to me. So anyway, you'll notice that I'm kind of building my stuff close together. If it's close together, it's easier to defend. People will build it on their first choke point. And another thing I'm doing is I'm making a lot of drones. See how many probes I have? That's a common mistake for new people, is they don't make enough workers in the beginning of the match. So don't go stingy on the workers, but you have to balance your army at the same time. And another thing, people were like, oh my gosh, I don't know how to get such and such a building. And that's kind of, I mean, that can be basic, right? But I just hit F12. The tech tree is right here, or you click this button here. I have this disabled in one of the, what's it called? One of the menus, I have it disabled. But this is the tech tree, and you can access this during the game if you want, but just learn this. This needs to be memorized. Someone said, well, the Stargate, I can't get the Stargate. Well, it's right here, so just, you follow these buildings. If you played enough, these buildings will be memorized. You can check out all the tech trees here. You can check out the units. You get some basic counter systems going on. It's like, okay, so Terran, click on the Marine, and it says what it's strong against typically, and what it's weak against typically. This is not an absolute. These are not absolutes. It's not like a hard counter system where inherent damage values make sure you're good against one and you're weak against another, or whatever. This is a general kind of, like, where you can start out as. But, they have siege tank twice here. It's kind of funny. But, because, I mean, for example, let me find an example here. The Baneling says it's strong against Marines, right? But if you have one Baneling, and you have like 3 Marines, you can run away with the Marines and shoot them and kill them. But if you have like, 50 15 Marines and you have maybe 10 Banelings, those Marines are going to get killed because it's really hard to control a lot more units. On the flip side, if the Marines are on a cliff and the Banelings have to go up a choke point to get to them, or they can't get around them very easily, then it falls back into the Marines' hands. So it all depends, right? But typically, these systems are pretty accurate. So, which is the beauty of StarCraft, which means you can have a unit that's weak against another unit, but if you're good with that unit, you might be able to come out on top, or expend that unit's life more than you could have if you just not control your units. But the reality of StarCraft is the combat takes place so fast that it's just oftentimes grouping up your units in one group, hitting A and attack running, and based on your positioning of units, that's kind of how you maximize your damage, and that's how it'll be for a little while when you're playing the game. Until you can kind of make use of the more finer details of your units and stuff. And the reason I was doing this first with Gateway, I go here, I went here with Forge. I was mapping out the space of my gateways. So I know I'm going to put at least 2 more gateways down, but I want my Forge up here a little farther up here. And I do that in these exact positions because I'm leaving enough room for photon cannons. A pylon the size of a photon cannon, so I'm using that right now to show you. You can kind of put photon cannons here, and then the buildings block for those photon cannons, makes it harder to attack them. So that's kind of what I was doing there. And I should have my cyber score right now, so I'm not doing very well, to be perfectly honest. I would usually normally build that really quickly, but I kind of an array. So yeah, got some stuff going on here. I'm gonna move my guys back. I'm hitting S, and then attacking, hitting stop, moving, hitting stop, moving. I'm trying to get to this choke point up here, and I'm gonna hit stop. Now we're fighting at a choke point, and it's much harder for the Zerglings to kind of get through this because Zealots are excellent choke points. So if these guys keep me up, I'm gonna just try to save them here. I'm gonna get surrounded, or they're in trouble. Looks like they're pretty good. So I'm just kind of moving and hitting stop. Now they're gonna retreat. Looks like. So I move my guys out here and keep them out there. So I mean, if I had just attacked with my guys normally, I would have lost that attack. But I didn't. I like to chrono boost his ability in the Nexus. I like to chrono boost my warp gate. It's really useful. Get that out as quick as I can. I'm gonna float terrible in this game. And floating means your money goes basically above like 400. Is kind of the rule. I'm gonna float terrible in this game because I'm gonna be talking while I'm playing. But the idea is to keep your money as low as possible because money in the bank can help you. Money in the form of units can help you. That's kind of the premise of that. Whoa. I need more pylons. I'm throwing these pylons in the middle of my workers. I have kind of pylons here. See how I'm kind of making like a little pattern here? I don't know. It's like, you'll figure out ways to build. So anyway, let's see. So yeah, look at the tech trees. Memorize your favorite factions things. I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but I really like Zerg and Protoss. I'm not a big fan of Terran, but I like Terran being on my team because having all this range units is cool. I'm sort of attached to melee units here. I'll show you something that's kind of tricky here. Okay, so these units are on hold stance. I'm going to keep this guy on stop. I'm just going to have him stop here. He just kind of moves. Maybe they won't get him. Okay, see how he kind of moves out there by himself? They're trying to lure him out. I'm not controlling him. Now they're going to try to attack him, but I'm going to pull him back. But if he's on hold stance, he won't move out there. He'll just sit there and wait for them to come to him. And they will not move, but they will attack within their range. Since the Zealot's range is just barely around him, you got to make sure you control your units. So I try to do that online. People aren't paying attention. I will move my units close to them, try to pull a few out when they're not paying attention, and whenever like their units are out there, I surround them real quick and kill them and try to clip off a few units. You got to make sure your opponent's not doing something sneaky like that. And now they come in. Now I'm going to make my Zealots on attack. We've got some roaches coming in. They're strong against, which are armored. I'm going to have my Stalkers attack the roaches. My Zealots attack the Zerglings. That way my damage is being the best that it can. Like, making the most of my attacks, so to speak. I'm going to turn my things. Warp gates. As Protoss, you kind of have a few options here. I'm going to slow the game down. Once you get past Cyber's core and you got some cash, and this is floating way too much money, but it depends on who you're fighting. Like, I'm going to probably go with High Templars, I'm going to say. yeah, say hi, Templars.